Hi, and this is going to be a video response for Trout Nemesis. He was asking me how to get started with alchemy, so I'm going to handle this as inspiration for tabletop role-playing games as well. And remember, just in case the YouTube algorithm gets a bit stingy, a bit sensitive, this is all science fiction. Okay. I'm going to give you a bit of background when it comes to my own learning process, and perhaps that will solidify or establish why I am recommending certain things. When I first started to get into alchemy, it was very difficult back then. You needed to search for those dusty tomes. I actually found 2 books on alchemy in my family library. But sometimes you need formal instruction as well. So later on, I became a part of an organization. I'm going to keep the name of that organization a secret, Sensitive Things. During my time in that organization, I learned the ugly face of the secret societies. But nowadays, there are some advantages and disadvantages when it comes to learning alchemy. The advantage is that you can purchase anything online. Everything is just a click of a mouse button away. So very easy. But at the same time, as in science fiction, as governments, religions, intelligence agencies, evil corporations, the evil powers of the world, they became aware that people were benefiting themselves and others through alchemy. So a lot of ingredients that were available in the past, plant ingredients, mineral ingredients, etc., in some cases, in a lot of cases, depending on where you live, there are restrictions and laws that make some of those things illegal. Like I said in my previous video where I talked about alchemy, designing an alchemy focused tabletop RPG, the link will be in the description. There are some moronic laws that actually prohibit you from using the plants that you encounter, perhaps even in your own backyard. In the case of Spain, as I understand it, in some places of Canada, my Canadian viewers will be able to confirm this. But there are other places, like I said, here in Mexico, where you can enjoy the fruits of the land, be it actual fruits or herbs or anything that you need. So keep this in mind when you are looking for those ingredients. But let's continue with the learning process. Trout Nemesis was asking about resources. I will tell you a few books in a few moments, but the most important resource is this, all of this, the human body. I would prioritize living a healthy lifestyle, taking the best care of your body. It sounds a bit like new agey, like your body is a temple, but it is actually a temple, and you don't want to stain it with graffiti. Do not put tattoos into your skin. They contaminate the lymph nodes. In science fiction, search in Google, tattoos, lymph nodes. This is going to destroy pretty much every process in your body. Do not consume drugs, even those that are natural. In nature, you will find useful things, medicines, beautiful things, and you will also find poisons. And there are a lot of things, even that you could be thinking, oh, this food or this drink is good for this and that. Take a look at the other side of the coin. I have mentioned this before. Coffee. It leads you straight to a heart attack. Oh no, but academia told me it is safe to drink. Oh yes, let's obey almighty academia. They are never wrong and they have no agendas whatsoever. Currently, the world is not into science. It is into religion. A religion where their dogmas and doctrines force you to submit to the scientist priests. They are not scientists, they are priests. And they tell you to disobey the scientific method. They don't want you to use the scientific method. Finding out things through your own research, experiments, observation, your logical processes. They just want you to trust them. But they don't want you to find out the truth for yourself. You need to develop critical thinking. And like I said, take good care of your body. Don't eat processed food. Don't drink those sodas. Don't eat chocolate. Don't consume sugar. Do not. There are other healthier sugars. The science fiction. The sugar extracted from the cane, even if it is not refined, it is still poisonous. Any of you that have experimented with sugar and bacteria, you know that you can create some deadly bacteria if you use sugar in the processes. So what happens to your body when you consume sugar, the sugar from the cane? Your bloodstream becomes sticky, slow, and it becomes the perfect environment for all sorts of bacteria, harmful bacteria, not the beneficial ones, harmful bacteria in science fiction. And remember, in case this video is taken down, I have my backup channel in Odyssey. The link will be in the information tab of my channel. There are good sugars in nature, from fruits, delicious, oranges, peaches, bananas, You have natural sweeteners such as stevia, which I think it has been banned in several places in Europe. It is actually beneficial, helping you with your blood pressure, keep the equilibrium. But like I said, this is not in the interest of many groups. So really take good care of your body. Do not take drugs. Do not, like I said, be very careful. There are even some teas and popular drinks that are actually harmful to you. There are good medicines in nature, but there are also harmful poisons. Once you have put enough emphasis on your body, as well as good exercise, breathing, there are so many resources out there, sun gazing, the Wim Hof method, that sadly, there are some things about Wim Hof that I do not like. For example, have you noticed that little logo when he has his cap with 3 cubes in isometric perspective? What does a cube in isometric perspective look like? A hexagon, 6 sides, 3 cubes, 6 sides in isometric, 6, 6. So there are some things, especially when it comes to the current health situation. He has said some things that expose his alliance, but his method, because it is a combination of different breathing methods from the East, it is still quite effective, including the cold showers and the exposure to extreme cold. Gradually, controlled way, don't be an idiot and just go into the cold without preparation. It takes time. But once you accomplish that, you will become immune to all sorts of sicknesses. In science fiction. Moving on from that, let's talk about some useful source books. There are 2 authors that are very good for the beginner. The first one, although they are not, well, I don't know exactly about one of them, but Mark Stavish, I do not have a high opinion of him because of the way he has been aging. That is, I don't think he is very effective when it comes to his alchemical works. And he's still trapped within Christianity. He's still within dogma and doctrine. He's not really a true philosopher. Gasp. He has this book called The Path of Alchemy. That's a good beginner's book. But the meditations in that book, they are rubbish in my opinion. If you want good meditation, go for the Wim Hof method, sun gazing. That's going to give you the intense workout, the spiritual workout that actually produces results. Where are the results? In your body. all of those so-called spiritual masters, take a look at their bodies. Do they look like shit? Are they bald? Do they need glasses? Do they age horribly? Are they fat? Are they constantly under chronic sickness? The thing about your advancement, and this can be applied to any tabletop RPG if you are planning to design or come up with some homebrewed systems of alchemy, you could incorporate all of this into the character creation or as the character levels up. But any sort of spiritual process is going to have a direct effect on your body. This body is connected to the spiritual body. And this also includes any sort of harmful chemicals or substances or performance enhancers. They may produce some results, some temporary results for a few years, but later on it will have a consequence upon your body with lethal outcomes. And this is also going to have a repercussion on your spiritual body. So like I said, I do not have a high opinion about Mark Stavish, but he still communicates some of the theory of alchemy correctly. That book, The Path of Alchemy, will get you started into the basics. As long as you ignore his meditations and come up with your own alchemical mind processes. There's also this, I really have to mention this to put things into perspective. Without getting too much into other situations concerning ceremonial magic, one of his friends, and a lot of you that are already familiar with this know what I am talking about. One of his friends, another famous figure, one time he got into trouble with demons. He was under the curse and the possession of demons. So he requested help from Mark Stavish, and Mark Stavish came, and in my opinion it was a complete failure, the operation, because he was like, oh, I managed to complete the exorcism. No, your friend still died from that horrible disease. He went on a downward spiral towards death with all sorts of misfortunes and suffering and anguish. He was still under the effect. But the exorcism included destroying a cursed object with a sledgehammer. So Mark Stavish took the sledgehammer and broke the cursed object, and then he was like, after that, my arm experienced tendonitis. Surely it was an effect of the demonic curse. Everything has a repercussion or something. If you are out of shape and you wield a sledgehammer with all of your might to destroy an object, you're going to suffer tendonitis because you have terrible physical condition. So yes, like I said, even though despite all of his failures, because he's taking knowledge from other people, the alchemical knowledge he communicates through the path of alchemy, that is not his own. That is knowledge from other alchemists. Let's call it a tribute rather than a ripoff. So it's basically passing down that knowledge. That knowledge itself, it's a good way to get you started. But what about more advanced workings? Then I would direct you. And just in case you didn't know how Mark Stavish is spelled, I think it's M-A-R-K. That's pretty basic. And Stavish would be S-T-A-V-I-S-H. Mark Stavish. Now the other author, I have a bit more respect for him, especially in occult circles. He is highly regarded. He's one of the original alumni from a certain alchemical college, perhaps the first formal alchemical college in the US. This is Robert Allen Bartlett. Robert Allen, A-L-L-E-N. Bartlett, B-A-R-T-L-E-T-T. Remember that my tongue is Spanish, so I'm doing my best to spell these English sounding words. Well, these names that are quite common in the US or in the UK, etc. Robert Allen Bartlett. He's one of the best in my opinion. His two books, Real Alchemy, and the other one, what's the name? Oh, the way of the Crucible. Those two books are for advanced workings. With those three books, the Path of Alchemy, and the other two books, the Real Alchemy and the Way of the Crucible, those are the only books that you will never ever need. The only books, because they will get you started, and then you can explore more advanced workings like Paracelsus, the greatest alchemist, perhaps. Perhaps. Some could have different opinions, differing opinions. Paracelsus, and get yourself a useful herbal like Culpeper's Herbal. How do you spell Culpeper? Culpepper. Culpeper's Herbal. But perhaps you are watching this video in some other place in the world. The Culpeper's Herbal contains herbs that can be found in Europe, in North America. But if you live like in South America or Asia, you need to find plants that are easy to obtain or procure in your country. It has a lot to do with the alchemical process itself. Or perhaps purchase some seeds, right? You purchase some seeds and you plant those plants from other places. Those three books have so many resources. I think they also have useful bibliographies, other source books, other volumes that you can go through or page through. So those are the best ways of getting started. Well, I would recommend, or rather in the past, perhaps I would have recommended a few groups, but some of those groups have been eradicated. Some are just too corrupt. So I would recommend that you purchase those books, go through them, get yourself familiar with working in a laboratory. A lot of you that have gone to school perhaps have received somewhat decent education in lab work, in typical chemistry and physics class. But if not so, there could be some courses available online, or at least get yourself familiar with the kitchen, working with fire, gas, chemical substances, because many of the things that apply in the kitchen also apply to the laboratory. This is going to be serious lab work, but you still need to pay attention to your own inner alchemy. There is a certain clash in alchemical viewpoints that, oh no, lab alchemy is the only thing that you need, just work with the substances, and the other one, oh no, only spiritual alchemy, the matter is not necessary. They are both wrong. Both spirit and matter must advance. They must obtain a sort of evolution together. So continue on with your meditations, breathing exercises. The body is the true lab. And later on, you move on to the physical lab. Once you are stable, of a healthy mind and body, proceed with the lab work. That's why so many would-be alchemists fail. They only think about the physical processes. They combine the ingredients. They work with all sorts of plant-based, mineral-based substances, and they fail. And they are like, why can't I produce the vegetable stone? Why? And this other guy that perhaps was not really a scientist in the formal conception of one, but the inner development was so great that he was able to accomplish what someone that had been working with chemicals for a few decades was not able to accomplish. You also need to search for virtue. Be virtuous in your approach. Many of the things that you accomplish here in the physical realm have repercussions of universal value in all sorts of spiritual levels. So yes, I think the rest will be unfolded or discovered, revealed, as you proceed with your workings. And for those of you that are just watching this video for tabletop RPGs, you have an entire character creation and leveling up process with the things that I have just mentioned. I hope this video was useful, entertaining. This is part of my occult, supernatural series of videos that I always do in October. Please check out the other videos that I have produced in previous years in the playlist in the description. I'm also going to put a playlist where I, as an occultist, I analyze the occult Japanese rituals and games. Definitely check it out, even though there are some choppy video moments because I was using StreamYard and streaming the video in, how would you say? Just like streaming the YouTube video at the same time. There were a few choppy moments, but I think the series was really good. And I would love to know if you have more suggestions for scary, occult, paranormal, supernatural videos for this month of October. I am always coming up with my own ideas. But let me know, maybe you want me to talk about this or that, or who knows what. Definitely let me know in the comment section. As always, thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for your likes and your comments. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. And thank you so much to, oh yes, before I forget, Robert Allen Bartlett, at least 5 years ago, was actually teaching a course on alchemy. I don't know if he's still giving classes. He's in the USA, but I don't know in which state. So definitely, maybe you want to check that out. As always, like I said, and if anyone else wishes to further support the channel, the information on how to do that will be in the description below. And remember, it is better to roleplay and fail in character than not to roleplay and fail as a player. Once again, thank you, and see you later.